this would be one of the largest prison privatizations in history, and it would really transform the southern Florida. They have approximately 26, maybe more, prison facilities in southern Florida that would become privatized, and so that means it would be turned over to one of or maybe several private companies who would then operate these for the state.
And Cam, is this economical? I mean, does privatizing prisons relieve the taxpayer of some of the burden, or is it kind of a wash?
That is the ultimate question, and it is hotly debated. Of course, opponents of this plan, including unions and some elements of the Tea Party, think this is a terrible idea, that it's a boondoggle for corporations, basically, in which you're handing over public facilities to private entities to operate them. But the supporters say very strongly that this will save the state money, and in fact, in the legislation, it specifies that they have to deliver at least 7% savings over the current expenses.
And Cam, in your report on WSJ.com, which people can go to, it seems that the pros and the cons of this fall very strongly down political divides. Republicans for it, Democrats against it. Is this becoming?
Yes, with one wrinkle, though. One wrinkle on that. Tea Party elements and certain members of the Republican Party are vehemently against this. So I don't know. We're going to find out today whether it's enough to stop the bill.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, it's the governor backs it. The leadership in the Republican leadership in the legislature backs it. But there are elements of the Republican Party that do not want this. They think it's a bad move.
And Cam, there's always this. I mean, we seem to be a society that incarcerates people. Does this initiative just further that at all? I mean, it's kind of a question. The United States being the nation with probably more incarcerated people than anybody in the world.
Yeah, and I'm also curious too whether privatizing a prison, does that offer more rehabilitation efforts, anything sort of to your point, sort of help these inmates, or to get them to a place where they could possibly be released, or are we just warehousing, and is that better than what the state's doing?
Well, I mean, that's to your 2 points. One is, I would say, I'm down here in the South. It's very much a red area. These are red states, led by Republican governors and Republican legislatures, and you wouldn't think you'd be hearing about let's incarcerate less people. But we're starting to hear that because these governors, who are very worried about their budgets, are looking at what's busting their budgets. And when they look, it's corrections. It's a huge expense. And Florida is looking at possibly a $2 billion shortfall this year. They are looking at any way to save money. And if they can save money this way, that's why they're for it. Now, as for incarcerating less people, I think you're going to start seeing more drug courts, more ways to divert people from going to prison, because it costs so much money.
And Cam, also in your report, it seems that part of the debate is whether or not jobs will be lost in this transition, should it go through. Obviously, that is a huge issue on the political trail in the coming year, and Florida's no exception to that. So how much of a factor will that play in, you think, the decision on whether or not this goes through, as the amount of jobs that could be lost, shifted, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, jobs, we're going to, there's no way jobs are not going to be lost, because they're trying to save money. So a new company comes in, a private company comes in, they're going to look for efficiencies, and that's going to lead to people losing their jobs. And the unions, the public unions know this. That's why they're vehemently against it. But the supporters of this idea say, look, we're not one senator spoke to me the other day and said, this isn't we're not an employment agency. We're the state of Florida, and we're supposed to spend taxpayers' money.